Angry guy here, and women are furious that men are rejecting women with masculine energy. Guys, please help me get to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already have it. Hit the like button and turn on notifications to never miss another video again. Now let's begin. So women are furious that men are rejecting women with masculine energy. Let's just go ahead and jump into the very first video.
What's your age?
32.
Are you single?
Yes.
Do you think that as a woman it's a red flag that you're single at 32?
Oh yeah, it is a red flag, but it's okay. I've accepted my fate.
Why would you say it's a red flag for you?
Usually girls my age are desperate to settle down, or once they're 30, they're desperate and they know that they have to do something, but I'm not settling.
What qualities do you look for now in a partner?
I look for somebody that is strong, that has really good values, that understands the importance of being their own self, but also understands that in a relationship it takes two people. It's not just a one-man act.
Your ex was the opposite of those things.
Yes, he thought he was the prize, and no, women are always the prize. In the words of our very, very wise Shira 7, sprinkle, sprinkle.
Guys, do you see this nonsense, this sprinkle, sprinkle nonsense that's going on? Sprinkle, sprinkle. Guys, this was a Keisha. This is a Keisha. I keep telling y'all, Karen and Keisha are the same people. They're the same person. And Karen is not always white, and Keisha is not always black. I'm just telling y'all, this was Keisha. This was Keisha right here. You have to wake up and understand that these women know exactly what they're doing. They have literally doubled down. She's 32 years old. She knows that right now her chances of landing the guy that she wants is less likely, but she doesn't care because she wants to be put on a pedestal and treated like a princess, but then at the same time, tell a man that she's equal in the relationship, that her opinion has to be weighed in the same way that the man's opinion is weighed. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that a woman's opinion is not important in a relationship, but she doesn't want to be agreeable. She wants to have a power dynamic in the relationship that's going to lead to a power struggle unless the man ultimately ends up compromising. So she, on one hand, she's not being realistic. She wants a man who's strong, but then she wants a man that ultimately submits to her. Basically, she wants a simp that does what she says, but will provide and protect for her. You know, and it's not just any simp, but also an aggressive simp, you know, that has that aggressive feminine energy. She's not looking for masculine energy. She's looking for feminine energy. Because when you have men who are disrespectful, rude, you know, overly aggressive, those aren't masculine traits. That's feminine behavior. That's single mother behavior. You know, that's men that are raised by single mothers. They come with that behavior, that energy. You know, men don't like being around that type of energy. Real men don't like being around that type of energy. So you have these men who have that feminine energy, and they're very rude, they're disrespectful, they're aggressive, they don't know how to conduct themselves like men. When men take additional amounts of testosterone, it actually makes men calmer. This is what studies have found. Testosterone actually causes men to become calmer. Here's something that's also very intriguing. There are some women who actually need to have their testosterone levels increased because their testosterone levels are also out of whack. Testosterone is not actually a negative thing. Testosterone actually makes people calmer. Estrogen is what results in high fluctuations of emotions. There's an episode of The Big Bang Theory, and in The Big Bang Theory, one of the characters, I believe it was Howard, he accidentally ends up taking some pill or something that causes his estrogen levels to spike. And as a result of that, he becomes extremely emotional, miserable, and a variety of other things. And they figure out what's happening by the end of the episode. And I think it was Bernadine, his wife, she basically explains to him that, you know, she's been a woman for a long time. So she knows how to handle, the highs and lows caused by estrogen, which she is right in that respect. So, and one thing that you actually notice with women who typically have higher levels of T is they typically are more logical and rational minded than a lot of other women. It's absolutely true. Like, for example, just pearly things, she comes across as someone who likely has higher levels of T. And you can even see that with, just the way she looks, carries herself, the way she thinks. And she's an athlete. She is an athlete. I believe it was volleyball that she played. She was like pro or semi-pro. And, it's pretty clear. It's very, very clear. When you have men that are very aggressive like that, that's feminine energy. And real men don't want to be around that. This woman that we're seeing, she's trying to get into her masculine. She wants to be in her masculine while she also wants to be treated like a princess. She wants a man that will basically do whatever she says, but then is going to provide and protect her while she brings essentially nothing to the relationship. Let's jump into the next video. Miss Sprinkle Sprinkle, my goodness.
I think women are the prize in the relationship.
Because we add value to a man's life. We take whatever you guys already have and we just amplify it and make it better. The right kind of woman makes it better.
But you're not going to pay for your man's dinner, take him out, plan trips, have him move in with you, then plan for the future and lead the way.
I shouldn't. He's a provider. That's part of having values, or those are the values, for example, I value.
No man could say that, well, because he's doing all of those things, he's the prize instead.
No. He can do that for himself. He should be able to do it for somebody else.
Well, that's the thing. If he can do it for himself, why would he need you?
Because in other ways, I will add value to his life, not monetarily.
Like?
Companionship, making sure that he keeps up with, what his goals are and what his dreams are, supporting him, and also just overall, if you're looking also for looks, like being arm candy.
So this woman thinks that she's arm candy. Guys, do you see how women view themselves? They think that their value literally comes from their looks and their presence. This is insanity. So a woman wants a man who has everything, the full package. He should be a provider. He should be a protector. He's going to have to do everything for her. She brings no actual value to the relationship. He needs to dress well. He needs to have his life together. He needs to have all of these qualities, all of these traits, and she doesn't have any of those. So what do you bring? Because, for example, because she wants a man who makes over $100,000 a year, more than six figures, $1 million a year. He's, let's say 6 feet tall. He's ripped, so he has abs, six pack. He has at least 6 inches. He has influence. He's highly educated. And she's saying that, okay, so what I bring is, once I'm in his life, I'm going to amplify that. My very presence is going to amplify that. And how are you going to do that? By supporting him, by keeping him on track with his goals. But that doesn't make any sense. For him to get to where he's gotten to, he had to be a successful person. He had to be a person that was on top of his goals. He had to be with you. He had to be a person who dresses well, takes care of himself, is confident in himself. And he's a man with options. So why would he want to be with you? You're 32 years old. He can go out and find someone who's in their 20s that is fit, feminine, friendly, full of energy, hasn't had her heart broken a million different times already, and could still pair bond. This is the views and the mentality of modern day women. And they think that they're the prize, when in reality, they're saying that they're the table. And as a result, they don't have to bring anything to the relationship. And, the interviewer, he pointed this out. If the man's bringing all the value, then isn't the man the prize? No, because women are born with their worth. Guys, men are the ones born with the most worth. We are born with the most worth from the very beginning, because we're the ones that will ultimately become the providers and protectors. Even as we are growing up, if you have a little boy and a little girl, the little boy will naturally deviate to protecting the little girl and sharing what he has with the girl. We are natural providers. We are natural protectors. And then in terms of our SMV, our S marketplace value, we are attractive. Women in Western society, because of social media, they go around and act like men. The average man has no actual value outside of the way of what he could provide and what he could do for them. In reality, and as though the only guys that are attractive are Chaz and Tyrone's, that's absolute nonsense. The truth is that these women can no longer pair bond. When 95% of men are being eliminated as attractive to modern day women, when modern day women find roughly 95% of men as unattractive and are only chasing after the top 5% of men, and then after they can't get one of those guys, they go and settle for a plan B guy who's a guy making over six figures, who's a guy making $1 million a year or more, who's a guy who's already 6 feet tall, who's a guy who has his life together and can deliver 6 inches and has a six-pack. And guess what? That's the plan B guy. That's not the plan A guy. Plan A guys are the top athletes in the world that make tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars or even billions of dollars and have lots of influence. Those are the plan A guys. The plan B guys are the guys that make hundreds of thousands or $1 million a year or more than that. Those are the plan B guys that are 6 feet tall. So basically, their plan B guys are men that fall into the top 5 to top 1% of the world, but they're not even interested in these guys. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. The men that women are actually saying that they want, right? That they'll settle for, because they don't actually want these men. These are the men that they settle for in the end, are men that would ultimately end up in the top 1%. Like, for example, Mayumi's husband. This is a guy that when you adjust for all these various different things, income and a number of other things, he's potentially in the top 5% of men, and he's potentially in the top 1% of men in terms of income, in terms of quality, traits, characteristics. He's potentially in the top 1% of men in the world. Top 1%. And in Western society, a lot of these women may not even give him the time of day. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy until they want to settle down and get their bag. So when you factor these things into consideration, you realize just how bad it is when you're dealing with these women in Western society, because they're bringing nothing to the table and taking absolutely everything. Guys, help me get to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't. Like the video and turn on notifications to never miss another video again. I want to know what you think regarding everything we discussed here today. Women are furious that men are rejecting women with masculine energy. I want to hear your thoughts on this in the comments, so let's talk about them there. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.